Recently, I unexpectedly found myself on a 55-kilometer ride home after returning from the Velo-city conference in Poland, on a scorching June day no less. Due to a partial strike at the Dutch railways, I could travel as far as Utrecht by train, but not all the way to s-Hertogenbosch. Since I'd cycled that distance before, even in the cold and dark of January, I figured it would be manageable on a summer afternoon. The problem was, this time I had to do it on a single-speed, back-pedal brake rental bike. And most importantly, I had completely underestimated the 32-degree heat. Heat exhaustion quickly became a real concern. The route itself is fairly familiar. Having lived in Utrecht for nearly 30 years and in s-Hertogenbosch for the past 30, I know both ends of the journey well. That does mean, however, that the middle section is always a bit trickier. I remembered taking a wrong turn near Geldermalsen in the dark last time, and somehow I managed to take the exact same wrong turn again. For some reason, my mental map always fails me there. Fortunately, the rest of the route is clearly signposted. From Utrecht I followed signs to Culemborg via Houten. I know Houten well, but even so, it's easy to get lost there as a visitor. I chose the simple route, not the shortest, but the most straightforward. Houten is ideal for cycling within the ring road of Houten proper. However, much of the municipality lies outside that ring, and Houten is often criticized for how poorly that outer area caters to cyclists. You can judge for yourself. There are country roads shared with other traffic. Still, it wasn't too bad. I drank plenty of water that day, but one particular stop caused me to miss the ferry. That wasn't a disaster though. I needed regular breaks to keep the heat from getting to me. After all, I have a heart condition and I'll be turning 60 very soon. After Culemborg, I opted for a quieter route away from traffic. It was a slight detour maybe, but I prefer riding a bit further if it means avoiding the constant noise of cars beside me. Though I did have to endure that later anyway. In Utrecht, the level railway crossing has recently been replaced by an underpass, a major change in the municipality of Westbetu. Unfortunately, that same municipality also contains the worst part of the route, a country road. It was awful in the dark and not much better in daylight, having to share the road with speeding cars, especially when they whipped up a cloud of dust while cutting corners. In Venberg I stopped for an ice cream break and in quick succession witnessed two traffic violations. A motorcyclist overtaking a car on the wrong side of a traffic island, and shortly after a driver took a road reserved for bicycles and agricultural vehicles only, right next to the motorway. Once I'd passed Zaltbommel, I joined the brand new F2 high-quality cycle route, which took me all the way to s-Hertogenbosch. I cycled and filmed the almost 49 kilometers from the edge of Utrecht to the edge of s-Hertogenbosch in 2.5 hours, if you don't count the ferry wait and ride. But in reality, with all the stops, it took me over 4 hours. I was glad to be home after this ride, and I'll definitely think twice before attempting something like this again in that kind of heat.